Shadiversity.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and with the upcoming release of God of War, I've decided it's going to be a lot of fun to make a video where I review how realistic his combat is, specifically his axe and somewhat shield, because his shield appears and it can disappear and stuff, but axe and shield combat. Now we can get to Kratos' combat, and the first thing that I need to say about historical battle axe combat... figure 8, mate. So in preparation to that video, I am going to need a rough approximate of his axe. And that's what this is. And you'll probably see my kids in the background coming back and forth. They're interested in what I'm doing. They want to watch, and they're probably playing in the background as well. Say hello. I like building things, and when I need something that is a little bit more specialized that you can't really buy, well, sometimes you can buy, I like to build them myself. So as you see here, I've built, replica swords. There's a shield there as well, and even the chair that I sit on in my channel, I built that as well. So I'm a little bit familiar with my way around woodworking and such, and so yeah, now we're going to be building a replica axe. I'm here at the local hardware store, getting some of the equipment, and the actual real axes, not the same as Kratos' axe, and of course it's instructive to get an idea of the weight if you ever pick up a real axe, like how incredibly top heavy they are. But an actual garden axe, it's not going to do the job. But what they have here, they have some good handles, and so this one here, look at the shape of this. It's actually, I think it looks, quite accurate, or quite similar to Kratos' axe in the upcoming game. So this will work quite well, and it already has, a slice in between. This is actually really, really cheap stuff, so not expensive at all. If I wanted to buy, say, a LARP axe or something like that, because of Australia import costs and there's no real company building them here, they cost around $200, between 100 to 200. Well, this one is probably going to cost in the realm of maybe $40. So we got a regular axe handle here that I got from the local hardware store. This is only $20. A sheet of plywood right here. That only cost me about $12. And then some screws and stuff, and if you don't have tools, you need to buy tools, but I got tools lying around. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is this? This is a trampoline, right? This is the Australian jury-rigged workshop table. I usually, when I build stuff, do it in my dad's workshop, but I'm just going to do this here in my backyard, and so I can do a pretty rough approximate of a workshop table here. So this is a print-off of his axe as it appears in the game, and I'm actually kind of impressed by this part of the axe. The axe head is actually surprisingly thin, which works really well. That's how they were in real life. And so now I'm just going to line this up and draw it out on the plywood. Yes, sweetheart. You want to get a ball to play with?
Yeah, Mommy said so.
Did Mummy say so? Well, there's probably a ball inside in your bedroom if you go grab that.
Hello.
Hey, don't get in the way too much. Ah, the paper!
It's so funny, Yeah.
I'm just eyeballing it here. If you wanted to be exact, what I could have done is put like a grid of squares over there, maybe, 20 centimeters apart, and then I can put another grid on the plywood, and, if I wanted to double the size or something, just get it accurate in the conversion rate, I just double it, so I'd be like 40 centimeter grid squares here. But it doesn't, for my purposes, I don't need to be exact, I just need it to be good enough, and that's perfectly fine, and so I'm happy to eyeball it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll just try and bring this up closer. It's a bit hard for you to see, but there we go. That's the axe head. Now, of course, safety first, and while I'm using power tools, my kids have strict instructions that they're not allowed to move from that spot, okay? And of course, they do move. I'll stop working with the power tools straight away, and jury rig, the good old Australian way. What would you call it in America? The redneck way? Maybe. But this trampoline is actually functioning as something good to clamp stuff to, as a pretty rough but effective workshop table. So there you go. Anyway, so I'm going to use jigsaw, one of my favourite power tools right here. But if you don't have a jigsaw, something like this, does the job perfectly fine. As you see, that was in there. We have our axe head, and now it's just a matter of putting it in here, which means widening this part. So I'll simply line it up, just like that, and slice down into it.
Yeah. This could be useful. These are the pieces.
Alright, so I've marked it out, rough as guts, like I said. I'm just after something that'll serve my purposes, but I think you'll be surprised how well it'll look. I'm not going to paint it, but if it's something that you want to do, I mean, it wouldn't take too much work to then just paint this up and make it look like the metal is actually going over this part, like it actually shows in the video game depiction. But it's going to work out pretty well.
When you release this video of you doing this, I'll definitely do it.
Yeah, you will.
I heard this works.
Yeah, thank you for your vote of confidence. Do you think it'll work? This is going to take too long. I might need something bigger. Because I'm Australian, I have to do it. This isn't a saw. This is not much of a saw either. I've seen a lot bigger, so I can't really do the Australian thing. Alright, but this should work a little bit better. Hardwood. Sawing through hardwood is a dog. I've got to do this the hard way, and just it'll take a little bit longer.
So you can run faster and then don't get bored.
That is right. You wanna say fast motion now? Yeah, look at the camera and go start fast motion.
Start fast motion.
Holy crap, that was a pain in the butt. Got there. I mean, we're not done yet. So what I'm going to do now, it's my son. He wants to say hello to his little baby flash doll. Thank you. So now, I'm going to go down, cut across this section here. You could also do it with a really thin chisel, but this is the way I'm going to do it. It's not perfect. If I had a proper workshop and some, more appropriate power tools, I would have been able to line it up a lot better. But like I said, for my purposes, this will do the job. What's interesting about this, just the pressure from the joint here, because it's a little smaller than the actual width of the plywood, it's holding it really well in place. But I am going to put a couple of bolts just to make it even more secure. But then look at that. Alright, we've got Kratos God of War axe. So now I'm just going to add some of the bolts right into the axe. And what's interesting looking at the picture right here, I'll put it up on the screen underneath me, is that there looks to be like 4 rivets or bolts on it. And so I'm going to try and copy that and do the same here. My kids have abandoned me. It was only interesting for, a couple of minutes. Like a glove. Oh, could not have it fit better. So the holes that I drilled through to accommodate the bolt, were perfectly sized that the thread gripped the inside. It was like putting in a screw. So this is solid as anything. And I was planning on putting on the nuts on the back end. But one of the issues is, I'm not sure if you can see this, see how these ones extend and there'll be enough to get the nut on it, but these ones don't. So instead, I think I'm just going to hacksaw off these ones, get them flush a bit, sand them off, and I don't know, maybe they'll look like rivets or something on that end. We'll see if this will work. that actually worked alright. If you have a close-up look right here, cut through it kind of nicely if I'm not gonna. So I can sand that up, make it a bit smoother, and we'll get working on that one now. So I'm thinking about seeing if I can put on an artificial edge. So I'm not gonna make it sharp or anything, but make it look like there is an edge bevel going along there. And I can do that with the sandpaper. So I'll give it a go, see what effect I have with a little bit of sanding, and if it's not going to take me too long, yeah, I'll try and put it on an artificial edge. Oh gee, covered in dust after that, but it's turned out pretty good. You probably can't see it from this distance, so I'll come close, and if the camera will focus. It's interesting how the plywood ends up making these lines along the edge, because plywood is of course a composite of many layers of wood, and you see the edges of those layers in glue and you sand it back, which kind of creates an interesting edge effect. Now if I ever do and want to paint it up or end up painting it, I could do a lighter shade of grey along here to emphasise these edges more. But for what I plan to do, which is to review God of War's combat, and of course I'm making this so I can actually physically demonstrate the points that I want to make and make a good real-life comparison to the combat in God of War, and I can have some fun with this. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.